This is activity 1-2 on page 9, launching, access, and opening a database. The file we'll be working with in this activity is titled Cabin Rentals 1. Microsoft Access is commonly used to manage data for small business. In this course, you will develop a database to manage data related to vacation rental properties. The Mountain Cabin Rentals database stores various types of information about the following general concepts. Cabins: cabin description, features, location, how many guests can be accommodated, number of bathrooms, rental rates, tax and fees, minimum nights for a rental, each cabin's bookings, and maintenance records for each cabin. Customers: customers who rent cabins, including name and contact information, summary accounting of bookings and payments, and individual bookings made by each customer. And contractors: contractors who perform work on cabins, including their company name, contact information, web page, and service they perform. Numerous secondary concepts are also documented in this database, such as the reservations customers place for a particular cabin in a particular span of days, or a booking, payments customers have made, and so forth. You will open a completed version of this database to get comfortable moving around the Access environment and to get acquainted with the database you are going to develop. So we're going to start by opening a database. So from my desktop, I'm going to launch Access by double-clicking. And this brings us to our startup screen. We're going to select Open Other Files. And from the Open screen, we're going to click Browse. Now, for any new students that are joining us this week, it is important to know that the book will tell you that the file is saved in the C drive. For our classes, our files are always saved in our home drive. And to navigate there, in the left pane, you want to click on this PC, and you're going to scroll down until you find your home drive. And your home drive is signified by your first initial and last name. So here is my home drive. I'm going to double click to open that. And then we want the subject name that we're in. So we are in Access Part 1. We're going to double click that folder to open it. And then these subfolders are broken down by the name of the chapter that you're currently in. So we are in Lesson 1, and this will always be at the bottom of your page. And it is titled Getting Started with Access. So that is the folder that will contain any files that we need while working in our activities for Chapter 1. So I'm going to double click that subfolder to open it up. And here's the file that I need for this particular activity. It is titled Cabin Rentals 1. I'm going to select that and click Open. So if you get a security warning at the top, some active content has been disabled, just click Enable Content. And do you want to make this file a trusted document? You can click Yes. And you can X out of the updates available if you get that. Okay, so now Access is open, and then Cabin Rentals 1 database is open. So number 2, observe the Access application window. Note that the title bar shows the Cabin Rentals 1 database is loaded, again by our title bar, but our document area here is blank. Various objects in the database are listed on the left in the area called the navigation pane, but you aren't actually viewing their content just yet. So we do have a lot of objects over here. In the navigation pane on the left side of the application window, observe the various types of database objects. So in this first section here, we have our tables. If I scroll down, here we have some queries, Scrolling down some more, we have a whole bunch of forms. And then down at the bottom, we also have some reports. Don't worry about modules. In this database, objects have been named using a prefix to help you know what type of object they are. So for example, all of our tables begin with TBL. So just a good prefix to add to your items. Then our queries begin with QRY. Our forms start with FRM. And our reports start with RPT. Now, in your daily life, you don't have to name them like this. This is just for learning purposes as we're getting comfortable with our specific objects. Some people can tell what it is just by the little icon to the left of it, but we're not there yet. So adding that prefix to the beginning of the names is very helpful. So for example, TBL contractors, which is pronounced table contractors, was named starting with TBL, so you know that it is a table, and the QRY used to name query balance means it is a query. It is not necessary to use this prefix naming convention, and some Access developers don't do so. The navigation pane also helps you determine the type of object, table, query, form, etc. by placing them into those groups. If a vertical scroll bar is shown in the navigation pane, scroll down so you can see the other objects in the list. So that's this scroll bar here. The list of objects in a database may be quite long. In some databases, there may be hundreds of objects. Crazy to think about, right? Scroll the navigation pane back to the top so that the tables group heading is showing. Okay, and we will leave this open to continue in our next activity.